Hello, I'm Dan Bassill. I lead the Tutor Mentor Institute LLC in Chicago. In this video, I'm sharing some of my experiences from leading a volunteer-based tutor mentor program for almost 35 years, as well as 17 years working in retail advertising, to show ways to help build and sustain volunteer-based tutoring and mentoring programs in all high-poverty areas of a city like Chicago. This video is a recording of a panel discussion held in 2012, organized by Becoming We the People and held in Hyde Park, Illinois. I'll actually try to combine the answer to the two questions at once. First, I preface what I say because on one side, I've led a single program. On the other side, I've created an organization trying to help hundreds of these kinds of programs be all over the city. And so what I hear from Kelly and what I hear from Monique and what I hear from you guys is what I hear from a lot of different organizations. My first partner was the Montgomery Ward Corporation. It was employees at Montgomery Ward who launched a tutoring program back in 1965. The company provided space for that program to operate in their basement cafeteria starting in 1970. I became involved as a volunteer in 1973 and then became the leader in 1975. And the company hosted tutoring programs there all the way up to 1999 when they went out of business. So operating a program within a corporate structure means that the volunteers leading the program were employees who had full-time jobs doing something else, but the program had access to all kinds of hand-me-downs, all kinds of attention from corporate officers. It was the ideal partnership because there was no cost of space. The facility was provided, the manpower, we were drawing from a huge pool of people. So that's an ideal partnership of where and how to operate a organization. When I became the leader of the program back in 1975, one of the officers in the company looked me in the eye and he said, "Dan, you obviously don't know anything about leading a tutor mentor program." And I said, "Yes." And he said, "But there must be other people in Chicago who do lead programs. Why don't you find them, invite them to lunch, and see what you can learn?" So I began to reach out, and I found the Blue Gargoyle down here in Hyde Park, and I found the Fourth Presbyterian Church program, and at that point there were a couple of different corporate programs, and we started getting together for lunch. And over the years, we began to develop relationships, we began to learn from each other, we began to see that we all do the same thing at the same time, so why not do it together? And during these periods, my jobs were in corporate advertising, so we had a $200 million budget so that every week we could do ads trying to draw customers to 400 stores in 40 different states. In our tutor mentor program, we were using the same tools of mass communications to communicate to our volunteers, try to help them know what was going on, what information they needed to know, what we're going to do this week. But in the city, I began to see a pattern of, if you looked at the newspapers, you would see a camel effect. And a peak of the camel was when a little kid gets killed, or when a bad report card comes out on schools, and when the newspapers and the editorial people get indignant and say we got to do something. Well, those bad things happen all the time. It's only every now and then when it gets front page attention and editorial and everything. But when they do that, they were only talking about a few of the high poverty neighborhoods where these problems occur. They were only talking about a few of the brand name organizations working with kids because no one had a list of who all the organizations were. And then they would turn their attention to something else. The front page of that Tribune cost $500,000. But if you don't keep spending that money every day, the customer forgets what you're talking about and they don't shop at your store. So all the bad news editorials and all the indignation really wasn't doing much to try to draw volunteers and donors to our program or to the other programs in the city. So in 1992, when the little boy named Dantrell Davis got killed, we were just in this process of starting a new program, and we said, why don't we fill the void? why don't we build a database of who all the different tutor mentor programs are in Chicago, and why don't we use that information to pull people together and try to learn from each other? And then why don't we try to find ways to get greater reach and frequency, more times talking about mentoring, more ways talking about mentoring, that pointed to all of the programs, not just to one or two high-profile programs. And so we began to build the database in 1994, and we asked programs, how much contact do you have with peers? Half of them said little or none. 90% said they would like to have more contact. They'd come to a conference. So we began organizing a conference in May of 1994. 70 people came, just like us here today. We're sharing what we know with each other and with you guys. Well, enough people said it's a good idea, so we did it again in November. We had 200 people. We've been doing that conference every 6 months since then. The last one was last November. If we can find some money in a place, we'll do it again this May. But through that process, it's nothing more than inviting the people who have stories to tell to come and tell their stories to each other, and to try to use that to create a TV coverage or something that would tell the story to all the people who aren't there. So out of this, there becomes all kinds of partnerships, all kinds of opportunities, all kinds of, boy, I love what she's doing. How do I do it in my program? I love what she's doing. How do I do it in my program? How do we turn this into awareness and storytelling that would cause more people who have the ability to help us to be there with the resources, so that when we got a good idea, we can put that good idea to work right away. So then when we talk about volunteer involvement in these different programs, the best recruiter is your own volunteers. A satisfied customer is someone who will go to their family, their friends, their company, and say, this is really good, why don't you come and join us? So we've always focused on our own volunteers first, and we found ways to expand the leadership. Instead of a few people doing it all, we tried to create an organizational structure where a lot of different people have a role. And trying to create ownership of the organization in more people, then more people use that ownership and have an enthusiasm to what they do. So depending on what our mix of volunteers is on any given day, there could be volunteers teaching technology, there could be volunteers teaching video, there could be, we had a Spanish volunteer one time, so we had Spanish lessons, and we were teaching some sort of Spanish dance. So, and the volunteers sharing the enthusiasm for what they do, that's what mentoring is all about. Because in the neighborhoods where I feel these programs have the greatest amount of need, which is in high poverty neighborhoods, poverty by itself is a segregated one kind of people. They're poor. There aren't a lot of people modeling all the different kinds of things kids could be, and there won't be unless these programs are available with all kinds of volunteers enthusiastic about what they are and sharing that enthusiasm to say to kids, you can be that too. And as the kids grow up, if we can keep those volunteers connected, those volunteers can begin to help open doors. And that's why the long-term programs, your program's been around for years, your program, our ability that programs are here for decades, not for 1 or 2 or 3 years. And that would take a big village working to make that happen, which makes it a huge partnership.
You can dig deeper into these ideas by visiting the following websites, tutormentorexchange.net, tutormentorconnection.org, tutormentorblogspot.com, mappingforjusticeblogspot.com. I'm on Twitter at Tutor Mentor Team. I'm on Facebook at Tutor Mentor Institute. I have videos on YouTube at Tutor Mentor Institute. If you'd like to help me do this work, you can send a contribution to me at the Merchandise Mart, Post Office Box 33023, Chicago, Illinois. That's Merchandise Mart, Post Office Box 3303, Chicago, Illinois. Or contact me and ask how you can help. Thank you for watching. I hope to hear from you soon.